Chapter 1. Hidden Scenic Routes. Want the kind of drive where you pull off the road because the view stops you, not because a tour bus honked at you? Good. This chapter is a guided wink toward the roads most guidebooks forget and most social feeds never see. I'm talking about twisty state byways, sleepy coastal detours, and mountain passes that reward curiosity with quiet overlooks, friendly gas station coffee, and a real chance to stop, breathe, and actually notice things beyond the rearview mirror. First rule of Hidden Route Club: pick routes that were built for locals, not for headlines. Those roads tend to follow rivers, ridgelines, and old trade paths. They were laid out to connect towns, farms, mines, or fishing villages, and they still do. That means fewer lane changes, fewer scenic pullouts packed with selfie sticks, and more old barns, herons by a river, and diners where the pie is made from an honest recipe and a respecter of tradition. Here are a handful of types of hidden routes and examples to get you started. Use them as inspiration, not a checklist. The real fun is making your own detours. The Riverside Wander. Rivers made America, and roads that follow them often show you a slice of life that interstate travel never sees. Think small bridges, fishing boats tied to weathered docks, and towns where people still know each other's kids. Try the lesser-promoted stretches of the Mississippi River Road beyond the big river towns. Head north or south from those major stops onto county roads that stick closer to the water. You'll find quiet overlooks, roadside parks where you can picnic, and historical markers that tell real stories. The Mountain Ridge Backway. Big-name mountain drives pull crowds, but nearby spurs do not. Look for state scenic byways that run along ridge tops or through valley cuts instead of the flashy passes. Places like the Cherahalla Skyway get some attention, but parallel forest routes and feeder roads in the same region often serve the same views with half the traffic. Keep an eye on national forest maps and state DOT scenic byway listings. Those PDFs and brochures are gold mines. The Coastal Detour. Everyone knows the Pacific Coast Highway, but portions of the coast in Oregon and Northern California have quieter alternatives. County roads that cling to headlands or ferry links that slice travel time and multiply the scenic value. On the Atlantic side, Maine's smaller coastal roads between the postcard towns are full of lobster shacks, tiny lighthouses, and quiet coves. In the Southeast, barrier island bridges and mainland backroads offer surprising views without the congestion of better-known beach towns. The desert and plateau sidestep. In the West, a lot of beauty sits behind a gravel road sign that says "not recommended for low-clearance vehicles." Don't laugh. That's often the point. For drivers with patient tires and a will to slow down, dirt byways like Utah's Burr Trail or the lesser-traveled stretches of Scenic Byway 12 show red rock formations and silent canyons without the tour vans. Always check local conditions before you go. Dirt can be fine in summer and treacherous after a storm. The Small Town Connector. Some of the best drives are roads that link towns that time forgot. Think of county routes with vintage gas stations, old movie theaters, and town squares where someone still changes the marquee by hand. Ohio, Pennsylvania, and parts of the Midwest offer long runs of this kind where the scenery is subtler. Rolling farm fields, river valleys, and stands of hardwood forest, but the texture of life feels huge. Now let's talk specifics beyond names. A handful of practical tips will make these roads more rewarding. Research less locally. National parks have great websites, but a lot of the best byway info is in county or state tourism PDFs, local chamber pages, and bulletin boards at family-run inns. Look for scenic byway maps and heritage loops on state DOT sites. Many small towns keep up-to-date calendars of festivals, farmers markets, and museum hours. That lets you time your stops so you walk into authenticity, not a closed door. Expect limited services. Hidden roads often mean limited cell reception, fewer gas stations, and sometimes no real grocery stores for miles. Fill the tank when you can, carry a paper map or a downloaded offline map, and pack snacks and water. A small cooler, a basic first aid kit, and a flashlight are travel jewelry out here. Move slowly. The reward of a hidden route is the space between A and B. Stop for a roadside orchard stand, pull over at a fish hatchery, or take a 20-minute hike that wasn't on your itinerary. Those little detours are where the memories live. Respect the rhythm. These are working landscapes. Farm equipment, logging trucks, and local traffic will have priority. If you see a local waving you past, smile and let them go. The quieter the road, the more important it is to be patient and polite. Safety and etiquette tips. Watch for narrow bridges, blind corners, and livestock signs. Leave gates as you find them. Don't park in pullouts that look like driveways. If you want to take photos, pull fully off the roadway. Be kind to locals. They'll tell you about the best lookout or the best place for a cup of coffee faster than any app. Finally, an encouragement. Pick one region and plan a week to explore its smaller roads rather than trying to cross the country in 3 days. You'll find roadside museums, oddball attractions, and last-minute detours that become the highlight of the trip. A single long weekend on a hidden scenic route will likely be more satisfying than a rushed run through a famous route wall to wall, with stops that feel like a checklist. So pull a map, pick a lane you've never taken, and go slow enough to notice the small things. The roads I'm talking about give great scenery, fewer crowds, and stories you can actually bring home. Best of all, they don't cost more than a tank of gas and a willingness to wander. 1.1. Types of hidden routes that beat the crowds. Want variety without the selfie lines? This section breaks down the kinds of quiet roads that actually deliver scenery, not shoulder-to-shoulder tourists. Think of these as categories to steal from when planning. Each one has a flavor, a set of perks, and a few common-sense warnings. Pick a flavor, then taste test it for a day or two. The Riverside Wander. Slow water, faster stories. Roads that hug rivers hand you photo ops of weathered docks, herons, and mid-century towns where locals still gossip on the courthouse steps. These byways are flatter and easier on fuel. Watch for narrow bridges and occasional detours for boat ramps. Best move. Stop at a roadside park, buy something small from a farmer's stand, and watch time do a slow roll. These roads are excellent for low-stress travel. Fewer hills, steadier speeds, and more places to pull over for a picnic. Pack binoculars and a simple guidebook for birds and historic markers. You'll spot details interstate drivers miss. Service can be sparse near bends, so fill the tank when you carry a printed or offline map. Chat with locals at a diner or the marina. They'll point you to the best quiet pullouts, the secret orchard stand, or the little museum with free admission on Sundays. The Mountain Ridge Backway, views without the tour bus honk. Instead of the famous passes, chase the feeder roads and ridgetop byways. You'll get overlooks that feel private and switchbacks that demand patient driving. Bring warm layers. Ridge winds are dramatic and capricious. Use forest maps to find these spurs and expect fewer services. Perfect for those who like a peaceful turnout and a thermos of coffee. These spurs reward slow driving and curiosity. Download National Forest maps and topo PDFs ahead of time. They reveal skinny roads that hug ridgelines and little turnouts with exceptional vistas. Expect wildlife crossings and occasional logging trucks. Patience is part of the experience. Dress in layers. Temperatures can change fast at elevation. Carry snacks and extra fuel, and park fully off narrow shoulders when you stop. The payoff is sunrise or sunset from a quiet ridge with only birds and wind for company. A postcard moment without the bus tour soundtrack. The coastal detour and island connectors. Salt air, fewer crowds. Skip the headline coast highway in favor of county roads that cling to headlands, ferry routes that chop hours off a drive and double as a mini adventure, or the tiny loops between postcard towns. These roads have seafood shacks and lighthouses that don't charge admission. Beware tide schedules on some back roads and treat local speed limits like suggestions from a friendly local. Choose ferries and causeways carefully. Some ferries run infrequently, and tidal roads can be impassable at high water. Reserve spots when possible, and check local tide charts before you detour down a tidal lane. Bring windproof layers, a towel for spontaneous beach stops, and a small cooler for clams or lobster rolls. Coastal connectors are often narrow and shared with cyclists and pedestrians, so slow down, park considerately, and tip generously at family-run shacks. The reward is salty solitude, unexpected viewpoints, and seafood that tastes of place rather than trend. 1.2 Practical Prep. What to pack, plan, and expect. Hidden routes reward slow, prepared travelers. A little planning keeps the mood light and the money in your pocket. Here are practical habits and kit items that make a cheap, quiet road trip feel like a tiny luxury instead of a roadside headache. Fuel, navigation, and backup power. Fill up before you leave towns. Gas disappears faster than cell signal. Download offline maps and save a screenshot of your route. Keep a paper map for nostalgia and actual use. A USB battery and a cigarette lighter adapter for stashing juice in the car will save you from the lost and panicked. Playlist. Fill your tank whenever you hit a town. Rural stations can vanish between hamlets. Top off early and often. Detours and scenic spurs burn fuel faster than flat highways. If legal and safe, carry a small approved fuel container for particularly remote stretches. Download offline maps, Google, Maps.me, or your favorite, screenshot key waypoints, and stash a paper map in the glove box. Technology fails. Paper does not. And it makes you look calmly competent at picnic tables. Bring a high-capacity USB battery, a 12-volt cigarette lighter adapter, extra charging cables, and a modest solar trickle charger if you like slow triumphs. Bonus: a cheap compass and handwritten directions rescue you when tech takes a nap. Food and lodging hacks. Shop at local groceries and pack a cooler with breakfast, sandwiches, and picnic supplies. Dine where locals go. Small-town diners and food trucks often beat tourist menus for price and flavor. Mix camping, state park cabins, and one quirky inn night to stretch the budget and keep things interesting. Booking last minute on weekdays can snag big savings. Make the grocery stop your best travel hack. A stocked cooler with breakfasts, picnic lunches, and sandwich fixings saves cash and means scenic snacks wherever you pause. A small camp stove or folding kettle upgrades coffee from serviceable to worth writing home about. Pick local eateries over tourist traps. Diners, meat and three joints, and food trucks usually offer bigger flavor for less money. Ask the counter for the local's special, and you'll often get the best value. Mix lodging styles to keep trips fresh and affordable. Camp some nights, book a state park cabin, and splurge on one quirky inn or bakery stay. Use apps for weekday deals, call small inns directly, they often waive fees, and consider community-hosted stays for friendly prices. Vehicle basics and safety. Bring a basic toolkit, spare tire, tire pressure gauge, and a small air pump. Check fluids and weather before leaving. If a road turns gravel, slow down and follow tracks where possible. A simple first aid kit, headlamp, and water are cheap insurance against a long stop on a quiet stretch. Pack a basic toolkit: jack, lug wrench, jumper cables, pliers, duct tape, and bungee cords. Don't forget a good spare, a tire pressure gauge, and a compact 12-volt inflator. Flat tires are mood killers, especially after sunset. Check oil, coolant, brake fluid, and weather before you go. Rain can turn a dirt byway into a muddy trap, so have a backup plan. When gravel begins, slow to a steady speed, follow existing tracks where safe, and avoid sudden braking. Bring a first aid kit, headlamp with spare batteries, plenty of water, and reflective warning triangles. For long stretches out of cell range, consider a personal locator beacon or a modest satellite communicator. Cheap, peace-of-mind insurance for your quiet adventures. Etiquette and local knowledge. Respect private property, leave gates as you find them, and don't block driveways or narrow pullouts. Smile and ask locals for tips. Small-town folk love recommending a hidden overlook or a bakery. Being polite often gets you the best directions and the friendliest stories. Treat small towns like living neighborhoods rather than props for a postcard. Leave gates as you found them, avoid parking in driveways or narrow pullouts, and always pull fully off the road when photographing. One annoyed pickup driver can ruin an otherwise perfect scene. Be curious and courteous. A friendly question at a diner or gas station usually yields the best local tips. Secret overlooks, odd museums, or the baker with the best cinnamon roll. Locals remember polite visitors and will often share the real treasures. Support community businesses by buying something small, jam, a soda, or a museum ticket, so those places stay open for the next traveler. Respect local events and hours. Being considerate gets you better directions, warmer welcomes, and stories you actually want to tell. 1.3. How to find routes, time your trip, and build a mini itinerary. Finding great quiet roads is half research, half luck, and all about timing. This section gives the right tools and simple rules of thumb so your route feels chosen, not accidental. Use short sample itineraries as templates, then tweak them to match your mood and budget. Tools that actually help. State DOT's scenic byway pages, county tourism PDFs, and national forest maps beat social feeds for reliable tips. Use apps for gas prices and parking, but pair them with local chamber websites and bulletin boards. Reddit and niche travel forums often point to gravel spurs and friendly towns that don't make the glossy lists. Skip the perfect photo feeds and start with state DOT scenic byway pages, county tourism PDFs, and national forest maps. These sources list real routes, seasonal closures, and scenic pullouts without the hype. Pair official resources with neighborhood-level info, local chamber websites, bulletin boards at inns, and free county PDFs. Reddit threads and niche travel forums are gold for gravel spurs, ferry tips, and those diner recommendations that don't appear in glossy lists. Use apps, gas price finders, and parking tools for convenience, but download offline maps and save PDFs. Signal drops on backroads are a comedy of errors you don't want to star in. Finally, call ahead when possible. Town libraries and gas stations love sharing tips. They'll tell you about seasonal roadwork, the best early morning overlooks, and where the pie is worth pulling over for. Timing to avoid the herd. Shoulder seasons and midweek travel are your friends. Aim for early mornings at overlooks and late afternoons for coastal light and fewer people. Pay attention to local events calendars. Avoiding a festival can mean the difference between a peaceful lunch and a 3-hour parking saga. Shoulder seasons and midweek travel are your secret weapons. Spring bloom and fall color often mean fewer tour buses and lower rates, while summer weekends are peak chaos in every postcard town. Aim for early mornings at overlooks when light is soft and the lot looks like it belongs to you. Late afternoons are magic on coast. Golden light, fewer people, and better photos without the Instagram crowd photobombing your sunset. Check local events calendars before you go. Avoiding a town during its big festival can save you hours of circling and the emotional trauma of missing the last pie at a packed diner. If you want solitude, pick weekdays and seek alternatives to famous pullouts. Nearby state parks, unmarked overlooks, or a river access point 2 miles down the county road usually do the trick. Flexibility beats checklisting. Build a simple mini itinerary. Pick a region, 1 anchor town, and 2 or 3 secondary stops within an hour's drive. Anchor day 1 with arrival, a local meal, and an easy scenic detour. Day 2, a longer back road loop, a picnic, and a short hike. Day 3, a slow return with 1 memorable stop. Keep each day flexible. The best moments are usually unplanned. Start small. Pick a region you can reasonably explore in a long weekend. Choose 1 anchor town for your base and identify 2 or 3 secondary stops within roughly an hour's drive. That keeps travel time low and curiosity high. Day 1, arrive, stretch, eat local, and take a short detour, an orchard or river walk, so you don't start the trip as a cranky passenger. Day 2, do your longer loop. Combine a scenic byway, a picnic spot, and a short hike or museum visit. Pack lunch to save money and time. Day 3, head home slowly with 1 memorable stop, a lighthouse, overlook, or bakery with a line worth waiting in. Keep each day flexible. Build in buffer time and leave blank slots for the detours that make a trip feel like yours. Humor is allowed when plans go sideways. Chapter 2, Budget Road Trip Travel Skills. Budget travel doesn't mean camping in a ditch or surviving on instant noodles. Unless that's your thing, it means getting creative, choosing smarter, and focusing on what really makes a trip matter. This chapter gives practical, usable skills for trimming costs while keeping the fun. Think of it as the toolkit for traveling like someone who values experiences more than receipts. Start with a simple truth. Most road trip costs fall into a few buckets. If you control those buckets, you control how much you spend. The big buckets are fuel, food, lodging, and activities. Below are strategies that impact each one with minimal sacrifice. Fuel and driving economy. Gas is the single biggest line item on many road trips. Keep it down with a few easy habits. Maintain steady speeds, avoid hard braking and rapid acceleration, and use cruise control when the road and traffic allow. Keep tires inflated to the recommended pressure and remove unnecessary weight from the vehicle. A roof box looks cool but can cost you miles per gallon. Stow only what you need. Use apps that compare local gas prices. Fill up in towns where prices skew lower, often outside tourist centers. Also, plan your leg distances so you don't race for the last station for 60 miles. Carry a small spare jerry can only if it's legal and safe where you drive. Choosing where to sleep. Lodging can break a budget fast or keep it intact. Think beyond hotels. Campgrounds in state parks are affordable and usually well kept. Many include showers, picnic tables, and access to trails. If you prefer a roof over your head, look for family-run inns, historic bed and breakfasts that offer off-season rates, and economy motels on the edge of town. Booking midweek often saves a bundle. Consider alternative lodging like hostel-style rooms in small towns, church-run guest houses, or tiny vacation rentals that let you cook. Memberships such as AAA, AARP, or certain credit card portals sometimes offer discounted stays. If you're game for a little light negotiation, calling a local property directly can reveal unadvertised discounts or last-minute openings at reduced rates. Cooking and food hacks. Food is a joyful part of travel. You don't need to eat out 3 times a day to enjoy it. Pack a portable cooler and a camp stove or use microwave-friendly meals in motel rooms. Buy local produce at farmers markets for picnic lunches. Dine smart. Save breakfast for the hotel or a bakery. Enjoy a cheap and great lunch at a diner, and split heavier dinners or order dishes family style so you taste more without overspending. Street food, food trucks, and small-town diners often offer the best value. Ask locals where they eat. You'll get better food and better prices. Bring a reusable water bottle and refill it. Coffee adds up. A single good thermos can save dozens of dollars and a lot of wasted paper cups. Stretching activities and attractions. A lot of memorable things are free or cheap. Scenic overlooks, self-guided walking tours, community festivals, small museums on donation days, public beaches, and hiking trails. Prioritize nature-based activities that cost little. Use visitor centers for free maps and local tips. Many state parks have minimal entry fees that beat national park crowds' parking and reservation systems. If there's a paid experience you really want, budget for it and plan cheaper activities around it. Some towns have combo passes or a city discount card. Ask at the Chamber of Commerce. They often have coupons for local attractions and restaurants. Tech and apps that save you money. Use gas price comparison apps, route planners that avoid tolls, and apps that find free Wi-Fi points or low-cost parking. Download offline maps so you don't burn data searching for a signal in the middle of nowhere. Price tracking apps and fare alerts can help with rental cars and even last-minute lodging deals. Car and rental tips. If you rent, pick the smallest reasonable vehicle to cut fuel costs. Inspect the car carefully and take photos to save you from unfair charges. Avoid unnecessary insurance add-ons if your personal auto insurance or a credit card already provides coverage. Read the fine print. If you're borrowing a car or using your own, a brief pre-trip inspection can save big headaches. Check oil, fluids, tire tread, spare tire, wipers, and lights. A well-maintained car is more fuel efficient and less likely to strand you in a boring spot. Split costs and smart group travel. Traveling with friends can be cheaper if you set clear cost-sharing rules from the start. Decide how you'll split gas, food, and lodging. Apps and shared spreadsheets can prevent awkward math at the end of a trip. If someone prefers luxury and others prefer frugality, agree on a blended plan where people pay their own way for upgrades. Timing and reservations. Shoulder seasons are your friend. Spring and fall outside major holiday weekends often have great weather, fewer crowds, and lower prices. Book campgrounds and sought-after cabins in advance. But for motels and inns, a flexible traveler can sometimes score better last-minute rates. Know which spots require reservations and which are first-come, first-served. Small habits that add up. Bring refillable containers for soap and shampoo, a small collapsible cooler, reusable eating utensils, and a basic toolkit. Choose experiences over souvenirs. Take photos instead of buying things. Use library Wi-Fi for heavy downloads and keep an eye on food waste. A little planning before each day saves time and money on the road. Lastly, track your spending while you travel. Use a simple app or a paper envelope system to categorize costs. Reviewing the totals every couple of days helps you adjust. Did you overspend on food? Do a self-catering night. Spending too much on gas? Rework your next legs. Budget travel is a skill set you can improve quickly. It's mostly a matter of choices and priorities. Keep the trip about people and places rather than receipts, and you'll get more joy for less money. And if you want to splurge on one thing, go ahead. Just make it something worth remembering, like a sunrise at a quiet overlook or a homemade pie in a diner that asks where you're headed next. 2.1 Fuel and driving economy. Gas is the wallet-eating monster of any road trip. These easy habits cut miles per gallon guilt without turning you into a hypermiler robot. Drive smart, keep steady speeds, avoid hard braking and rapid acceleration, and use cruise control when safe. Short trips and frequent stops waste fuel. Think of small habits as steady savings that add up over hundreds of miles. Think of driving like dating your car. Be steady, patient, and don't make sudden moves. Maintain a consistent speed and avoid rapid acceleration or slam on the brakes theatrics. Those burn fuel like gossip burns friendships. Use cruise control on open roads. It's the boring cousin of efficient driving that actually saves money. Plan your speed so you anticipate stops. Glide toward red lights instead of braking hard, then accelerating again. Short trips with cold engines and frequent stop-and-go traffic are surprisingly thirsty. Cold starts consume far more fuel than a calm highway mile. Keep the car in the highest safe gear, avoid excessive idling, and if you can, balance window use and AC. At highway speed wins, around town open windows sometimes do. Little steady habits add up over hundreds of miles. Plan fills and routes. Use gas price apps, refuel outside tourist centers, and map legs so you're not racing for the last pump for 60 miles. Only carry a spare jerry can if it's legal, secure, and won't rattle your nerves. Map your fuel like a treasure hunt, where the X is a cheap pump, not a cursed chest. Use gas price apps to compare stations along your route and favor towns where prices are lower, usually a few miles off the main tourist strip. Fill when you hit half tank on remote stretches so you never end up starring in your own roadside meltdown scene. Avoid panic refuels. Plan legs based on realistic MPG with a safety, buffer, and note towns with multiple stations. If you're tempted to carry a spare jerry can, only do it if local law allows it. The can seals properly, and you can secure it to stop it rattling or venting fumes. A nervous driver is less fuel efficient. Sometimes a scenic detour is worth it because cheaper fuel pays for itself. Prep the vehicle. Inflate tires to the recommended pressure, remove roof boxes when not needed, declutter to shed extra weight, and do a basic oil and fluid check before leaving. A well-maintained car is more efficient and less likely to strand you somewhere boring. Treat pre-trip prep like a spa day for your car. Simple, soothing, and mildly bossy. Check tire pressure and inflate to the manufacturer's recommended PSI. Soft tires are fuel wasters. Remove roof boxes, bike racks, and garden gnomes unless you really need them. Every extra pound in drag costs miles per gallon. Lighten the load by decluttering the trunk and ditch heavy non-essentials. Do a quick oil and fluid check. Top off windshield washer and inspect belts, lights, and wiper blades. Look at tire tread in the spare. A flat on a lonely byway is an expensive plot twist. If something looks off, a short stop at a local mechanic is usually cheaper and faster than roadside drama. A well-maintained vehicle runs cleaner, uses less fuel, and gets you to the overlook, not the tow truck. 2.2 Food and lodging hacks. Eating and sleeping don't have to drain your trip fund. Mix cheap joy with a few clever choices and you'll eat well and sleep under a roof without regret. Cook and pack smart. Bring a cooler, a small camp stove, or a few microwave-ready meals, and shop farmers markets for picnic-ready produce. Breakfast from a bakery or hotel stash plus a cheap diner lunch stretches the food budget and the flavor experience. A small cooler, a compact camp stove, or a stack of microwave-ready meals turns pit-stop dinners into gourmet-ish victories. Pack staple condiments in leak-proof containers, bring a sharp knife and a collapsible cutting board, and stash snacks in easy-to-reach spots so hangry decisions don't wreck your budget. Shop farmers markets for picnic-ready produce, peaches, cheese, crusty bread, and assemble lunches that beat gas station mystery sandwiches. Use hotel breakfasts or bakery pastries for your morning meal. Then splurge on a local diner for a memorable lunch. Leftovers become next-day roadside feasts. Don't forget a reusable bottle and coffee thermos. Skipping disposable cups saves cash and trees. A tiny investment in basic gear pays off fast, leaving more money for a scenic detour or that pie you'll regret nothing about. Choose lodging wisely. State parks, family-run inns, hostels, and tiny rentals beat big-name hotels on price and personality. Call local properties directly for last-minute openings or off-season rates, and book midweek when possible. State parks, family-run inns, hostels, and tiny vacation rentals often deliver more charm per dollar than corporate chains. Campsites in state parks are tidy, scenic, and cheap. A warm shower and starry sky beat a themed lobby any night? Call local proprietors directly. Owners sometimes drop rates for last-minute openings or offer off-season specials that never make it to big booking sites. Aim for midweek stays to avoid weekend price spikes and consider bundle savings like kitchenette rentals that save on dining. Don't dismiss church guest houses or community-run B&Bs. They can be cozy and hilariously characterful. If renting, read cancellation and cleaning fee fine print. Tip: loyalty programs, AAA or credit card portals can score discounts. But remember, personality often trumps points when you want a memorable, affordable night. Eat like a local. Skip the tourist strip and try diners, food trucks, and hole-in-the-wall bakeries. Share plates or order family style to taste more without overspending. Ask a local where they'd take a visitor. You'll save money and get a better meal. Skip the tourist strip and follow your stomach and locals' recommendations. Diners, food trucks, bakeries, and neighborhood hole-in-the-wall spots often serve bigger flavor for less money than destination restaurants. Order family style or share plates to sample more without doubling the bill. Many small kitchens have generous portions built for sharing. Split a couple of dishes and tack on a side or two. Don't be shy about asking servers what locals order. Use simple lines like, "Where do you eat?" It's the best travel hack that isn't an app. Night markets and seasonal stands are both wallet-friendly and delicious. Save a splurge for a must-try regional specialty, but let most meals be where the town actually eats. You'll get better food, cheaper prices, and stories to tell. 2.3 Activities, tech, and group travel. Save on things to do and the tools you use. The right apps, a clear money plan with travel buddies, and a taste for free experiences keep the trip rich and the spending low. Prioritize cheap and free experiences. Scenic overlooks, self-guided walks, public beaches, local festivals, and donation-based museums deliver big memories for little money. If you want one paid splurge, budget around it and pick low-cost days elsewhere. Think of your itinerary as a greatest hits album of free and cheap attractions. Scenic overlooks that require nothing but a well-timed pullover, self-guided walking routes that double as a low-cost history lesson, public beaches perfect for sunset bragging rights, and community festivals where the price of admission is often a smile. Donation-based museums and small-town visitor centers are gold mines for local stories and maps. Pay what you can or what you think the docent deserves. Use these spots to pick up free brochures, learn about hidden overlooks, and time your visit around free entry days. If you crave one paid splurge, budget it like a celebratory dessert. Plan cheaper activities that day, hunt for combo tickets, or pick off peak hours when prices drop. The trick is balance. Big memory, small tab. Use tech to shave costs. Gas comparison apps, toll-free route planners, offline maps, and price alerts for rentals and lodging. Download maps and entertainment before you leave so you aren't burning data or patience in the middle of nowhere. Apps are your frugal co-pilots, gas price comparison tools, find cheaper stations so you stop paying tourist premium, toll-free route planners reroute you around cash-hungry bridges, and price alert services nudge you when rental cars or lodgings dip. A few taps can shave real dollars off the trip. Download offline maps and entertainment before you leave. Caching maps saves data and sanity when cellular signals vanish, and storing a few downloaded podcasts, audiobooks, or playlists keeps long stretches entertaining without costly roaming charges. Also, save screenshots of reservation confirmations. Airplane mode is a friend. Finally, sync your price trackers and set alerts for gas and lodging so good deals find you. Remember to manage battery life. Portable chargers and offline tools keep strategy working. Technology won't make the trip magical, but it will keep your wallet happier while you chase the view. Share costs and track spending. Agree on splitting rules with friends up front. Use a shared app or simple spreadsheet, and check totals every couple of days. Small habits, refilling a water bottle, reusable toiletries, and planning one self-catered night, compound into serious savings. Traveling with friends is cheaper and emotionally safer when money talk happens before the first playlist. Agree on rules for gas, groceries, and lodging. Equal splits, per-mile shares, or rotating payers. Use a shared spreadsheet or a bill-splitting app to record who paid what, and decide ahead how upgrades are handled so no one winds up funding someone else's minibar habit. Small daily choices add up. Refill water bottles, pack reusable toiletries, and plan one self-catered night to curb restaurant costs. Keep a running tally, either in an app or a paper envelope system, and reconcile every 2 or 3 days. Checking totals often prevents a surprise at trip's end and keeps the vibe friendly. If someone wants a splurge, kayak rental, brewery tour, or fancy pie, handle it like a pro. That person pays for the upgrade, or everyone chips in with clear consent. At the end, do a quick settle-up. Fewer arguments, more laughs, and more money left for roadside pie. Chapter 3. Authentic Small-Town America. Small towns have a secret currency: human connection. There's value in a friendly wave at a gas station, a baker who remembers your taste in pies, and a museum run by someone who grew up there and won't stop telling stories until you laugh or learn something new. This chapter is a love letter to small towns you'll actually want to stay in, not just drive past for a photo op. Expect suggestions, etiquette, and ways to find the kinds of places that turn a road trip into a story worth telling. Small-town travel is not about ticking boxes. It's about slowing down enough to notice the particularities of a place. The color of a sign, the sound of a river, the oddball museum that's somehow fascinating. Those details are cheap to access. A walk around a courthouse square, a chat with a shop owner, or a pie at a local diner costs little but gives big returns. How to find the towns worth stopping for. Start close to nature. Towns that grew around rivers, rail lines, or passes tend to have the most character because their history is visible. Use a map and look for clusters of dots where routes intersect. Those are often old trading hubs with interesting architecture and services. State tourism sites often highlight heritage trails with suggested towns. Also, search for small-town festivals like county fairs, arts weekends, or harvest days. Those moments bring a community to life and are often budget-friendly entertainment. What to do when you arrive. Walk the main street first. Look for the post office, a bakery, a hardware store, and a town square. These places give you a sense of what matters to locals. Visit the library for a local history section. It's free and oddly revealing. Stop into a barbershop or cafe and ask for a recommendation. People in small towns like to talk about their favorite places and will happily point you to hidden viewpoints, family-run spots, or the best fishing hole. Eat local, not tourist. Avoid chain restaurants at the edge of town. Small towns shine at breakfast and lunch. Try a regional specialty: soft-shell crab in a coastal community, a corn tamale in parts of the Midwest, blue plate luncheon specials in classic diners. If a place looks busy with locals, that's usually a good sign. Buy a pastry from the bakery and have it with coffee on a bench. Food is the quickest way to meet someone and get a story. Support local businesses. Spending a few dollars in a thrift shop, a farmer's market, or a local art gallery makes a bigger difference in small towns than in cities. Buy a postcard, a jar of jam, or a hand-thrown mug. Those purchases support families, preserve places, and give you a small memory that's actually useful. If you're tempted by a postcard, choose one from the town's own shop. It's a small vote for the community. Stay where history lives. Historic inns, family-owned motels, and renovated boarding houses offer more than a bed. Hosts often give free local tips and sometimes an evening chat with old stories you won't find online. If you prefer camping, many towns have lovely municipal campgrounds that are cheap and kept with pride by the Parks Department. Discover quirky roadside culture. Small towns are great for quirky museums and unusual attractions that cost little. A tiny car museum, a one-room schoolhouse, or a roadside sculpture garden might not be on the big lists, but they make trips memorable. Often these spots ask for a small donation, and that money goes straight back into preservation. Etiquette and cultural sensitivity. Be curious, not entitled. Don't wander into private property. Ask before photographing people or their businesses. If a store is closed, respect the hours. Tipping matters. Servers and small shops depend on local norms. If a town seems conservative, keep your voice down and watch how people interact. You'll get farther with respect and friendliness than with loud opinions. Ask about the story behind the town. Most towns have a history that locals love to share. A mining boom, a flood, an old festival, a factory that shaped life. Those stories make the place human. Visit a museum, ask for a brochure, or find the mural painted by high school kids. These small histories are often more interesting and instructive than any monument in a big city. Find community events. Even tiny towns have calendars. Farmers markets, parades, high school sports, church bazaars, and craft fairs are excellent ways to participate in a local rhythm for low money. These events often feature home-cooked food, local bands, and friendly conversations. Arrive early, stay late, and you'll likely be invited into the fold. Use small towns as strategic bases. A town with a grocery store, laundromat, and cheap lodging is a perfect place to rest and resupply. You can spend a day or two using a small town as your base and make day trips to nearby natural attractions. This strategy saves miles and money while giving you a chance to connect with a place on a human scale. Leave something behind. I don't mean garbage. Leave a good review for a cafe, a tip for a guide, or a quick thank you note to your innkeeper. Buy a postcard and mail it home. Small acts matter, and your small town hosts will remember the travelers who showed kindness and curiosity. Small town America is not a theme park. It's real life with real people. Treat it as such, and you'll come away with good food, better stories, and a sense that you saw a place rather than photographed a place. Slow down. Talk to someone. Eat the pie. You'll save money, find better company, and return with more than a dozen decent pictures. You'll have moments you want to tell people about. 3.1. Finding towns that are worth more than a gas stop. Think of this as treasure hunting without a metal detector. The best small towns aren't always the ones on postcards. They're the ones that grew around a river bend, a railway junction, or a mountain pass, and still carry the fingerprints of that history. Here are practical ways to spot those hidden gems so you spend your time sipping coffee on a porch, not stuck in a parking lot. Read the map like a detective. Don't let the interstate ribbon fool you. Zoom out and become a cartographic Sherlock. Look for clusters of dots where 2 or 3 routes meet. Those crossroads are often former trade hubs with a courthouse square, a diner that remembers your name, and a story or two. Trace rivers, rail lines, and mountain passes. Towns that grew where geography made sense usually have walkable main streets and architecture worth lingering over. Ignore popularity as your only clue. A tiny dot near a scenic byway can deliver quieter views and friendlier faces than the famous town 3 exits down. Use topo and state maps to spot green spaces and river access, and keep an eye out for historic markers on the map. Those are shorthand for good tale inside. Pack a pair of binoculars for the view, and bring a healthy suspicion of touristy t-shirt shops. Use calendars, not just reviews. TripAdvisor tells you what's open. Local calendars tell you what's alive. County fair dates, harvest weekends, arts strolls, and even high school football nights can turn a sleepy Saturday into a genuine porch party experience. Cheap food, live music, and stories overheard at picnic tables. State and county tourism sites, Facebook community events, and small-town newspapers are gold mines for timing your visit. Festival crowds in tiny towns are usually friendly, not frantic, and often far less pricey than big city events. Arrive early and you'll witness setup, meet vendors, and snag the best pie slice. In short, reviews tell you the menu, calendars tell you the party. Choose the party, not just the plate. Pair online tools with analog clues. Apps and satellite views are wonderful, but don't forget the analog signs that prove a town is worth a detour. A historic marker, a tidy town square, a single-family bakery with a line, these real-world cues beat a 5-star rating for authenticity every time. Use satellite view to check for parks, river access, and pedestrian-friendly streets. Then confirm with Street View and local blogs for recent intel. When in doubt, pull over. Many best-in-town discoveries start with an oops stop for a scenic overlook and end with a recommended pie shop and a museum run by a volunteer with excellent stories. Combine digital scouting with on-the-ground curiosity, and you'll find towns that reward both your map reading and your taste buds. 3.2. How to act like a welcome guest and avoid being that tourist. Small towns have short memories for rude behavior and long memories for friendliness. Being a good guest is mostly common sense. Be curious, be kind, and keep your loud opinions to yourself. These tips help you connect without stepping on toes. Plus, locals are the best unpaid tour guides. Open with curiosity, not assumptions. Think like a friendly neighbor, not a critic with a camera. Open conversations with simple, open-ended questions. What do locals do on a Saturday? Or where's the best pie? And you'll get stories, secret viewpoints, and real tips that no guidebook lists. Most folks enjoy sharing local lore. Let them talk. Listen more than you speak and take notes. If a local warns you off a trail or says a place is private, trust them. There's usually a reason: seasonal closures, livestock, or a grumpy neighbor. Avoid assuming customs or poking fun at differences. A light joke is fine, but skip the loud tour group energy. Being respectfully curious makes you memorable for the right reasons, and sometimes earns you the bakery's last cinnamon roll. Respect town rhythms and common sense etiquette. Small towns run on routines. Observe business hours, respect quiet times, and treat private property signs like the town sheriff's personal request. If a cafe is marked open 8-2, don't arrive at 2:05 expecting a hero's welcome. Keep loud music, big smiles, and selfie stick theatrics to a minimum near homes and churches. When attending events, bring cash for entry or a bake sale. Tip service workers fairly. Servers and gas station attendants often rely on those dollars. Park considerately. Don't block mailboxes or driveways while hunting a sunset photo. Leash your dog and take your trash. Polite behavior is cheap and memorable. It pays dividends in smiles, local tips, and sometimes an invitation to a backyard barbecue. Be a small-town booster without being a bulldozer. Spend your tourist dollars like a thoughtful investor. Buy the jam, the postcard, and the hand-thrown mug. Small purchases mean big impact in towns where one sale can keep a shop afloat. Leave a 5-star review that mentions the owner by name and what you enjoyed. Specific praise helps more than vague likes. But don't monetize every moment. Put down the drone, resist rearranging the historic bench for a better selfie, and skip streaming a full karaoke set outside someone's porch. If a local asks you to lower the music or avoid a fragile trail, apologize and comply. Move through town like you're borrowing someone's living room, respectful, appreciative, and tidy, and you'll be welcomed back with a smile and maybe a recipe. 3.3 Live like a local for less. Stays, meals, and oddball attractions. You don't need boutique prices to get boutique charm. With a little planning and a relaxed attitude, you can sleep in a room with character, eat like someone's neighbor, and visit the weird little museums that make a trip memorable, all without blowing your budget. Sleep where the story lives. Historic inns, family-run motels, and renovated boarding houses often cost less than chain hotels and come with personality. Hosts will point you to off-menu breakfast spots or the best place to watch the sunset. Municipal campgrounds and state park cabins are cheap, usually spotless, and frequently run by people who care about the place. Consider splitting a cozy room with a friend or choosing a community-run B&B. You'll get local tips, a comfortable bed, and a story with your stay. Call ahead. Owners sometimes hold last-minute discounts and will recommend walking routes, free events, or the town's best pie. Pack a small thank you, local chocolates, or a 5-star review, and you'll be remembered. Bonus, staying off the main drag often means free parking, quieter nights, and a host who hands you a map with secret viewpoints. Eat like a neighbor, not a tourist. Avoid the chain restaurants off the highway. Look for places where locals linger: diner counters, bakery windows, and truck stop cafes. Sit where the regulars sit and ask the server what the locals order. House special usually beats the tourist menu. Pack small picnic lunches from a grocery. Eat at a park bench or shop a farmer's market for ready-made salads, smoked fish, or cheap pies. Buying breakfast supplies at a local store can save a bundle and gives you edible souvenirs like regional jam. Try the regional dish. It's often cheaper and tastier than the souvenir plate. Share plates to sample more without overspending, tip well, and swap a joke with the cook. That small talk often yields the best recommendations and maybe a free biscuit. Seek cheap thrills, quirky museums and free nature. A tiny car museum, a one-room schoolhouse, or a quilt shop with a century of patterns can be the highlight of your day and usually asks only for a donation. Municipal museums and historical societies are volunteer-run. Bring cash, curiosity, and a willingness to listen. The volunteers are walking encyclopedias with punchlines. Pair oddball indoor stops with free nature. River overlooks, pocket parks, and short unsigned trails often outshine paid attractions. Plan a simple loop, 1 paid museum, 2 free outdoor stops, and you'll get variety without emptying your wallet. Practical tip by phone or social media: small museums close mysteriously for bake sales. If you love a place, leave a small donation or buy a postcard. That keeps the weird open for the next curious traveler. Use towns as resupply and rest hubs. Plan a longer stay in a town that has a grocery store, laundromat, and basic services. Doing laundry, topping off fuel, and stocking the cooler in one stop saves time and avoids expensive last-minute convenience store runs. Use laundromat wait time to chat with locals or read the bulletin board for events. While you resupply, stroll the main street and buy a souvenir that actually helps someone. Jam from the co-op, locally roasted coffee, or a hand-sewn dish towel. Pick up a paper map or printed town brochure. Those often point to overlooked viewpoints and seasonal vendors that apps miss. If your car needs attention, visit a family-owned mechanic who can fix little things affordably. Beds, burgers, and batteries. A good hub town sorts them all without drama, and you leave with pockets full of snacks and a couple of new stories. Chapter 4. Crowd-free adventure planning. If crowds are the price of a view, I'll take a lesser view and fewer elbows in the ribs, thanks. This chapter teaches you how to plan adventures that let you enjoy places without feeling like you're part of a moving human exhibit. Crowds cost more than patience and pavement. They cost parking, time in line, and the quiet that makes nature feel worth it. Smart planning keeps your trip peaceful and inexpensive. Start with a simple approach. Timing beats location. Plenty of famous places are quiet at dawn on weekdays or off-season. If the idea of getting up early feels like punishment, remember the reward: a parking spot, empty overlooks, and photos that make your friends believe you had the place all to yourself. Know the season. Each place has a high season, but also a low season when rates drop and the experience is calmer. For example, beach towns are rowdier in summer, but spring and fall bring better deals and nicer weather. Mountain towns fill in winter with skiers and in summer with hikers. Learn the local rhythm and plan your trip in the shoulder months whenever possible. Choose midweek travel. Weekends are local vacation time. If you can travel Tuesday through Thursday, you'll find cheaper rates and calmer trails. Many parks and attractions are less crowded midweek because locals and regional tourists wait for weekends. Research alternative trailheads and overlooks. Big-name trailheads attract crowds. Find parallel routes or secondary trailheads that lead to similar views. Forest roads and smaller park entrances are often empty, and they can offer equally good vistas for a fraction of the foot traffic. USFS and BLM maps are great for finding these spots. Use local calendars and citizen resources. Local chambers, visitor centers, and even community Facebook groups have current information about crowd-heavy weekends, seasonal closures, and popular local events. Contact them for tips on times to avoid or little-known spots that locals use. Pick lesser-known parks. National parks are amazing but can be expensive and crowded. State parks, county parks, and wildlife management areas often have similar natural assets with lower fees and fewer people. A short search will reveal state scenic routes, conservation areas, and public lands that seldom appear on national maps. Reserve when needed and show up early when not. Some places require reservations. Know which ones and book in advance to avoid disappointment. For everything else, early arrival gets you the best parking and the calmest moments. You can get the same sunrise view without a reservation often by arriving before the crowds or by finding an off-site overlook. Plan logistics to skip the lines. If a town's main street gets congested at noon, dine at 11 or 2. If a ferry has a long line, take the earlier trip. Timing simple things like meals and boat departures makes a huge difference. If an attraction has multiple entry points, figure out the one that most tourists miss and use that one. Leverage technology, but don't let it trap you. Use crowd monitoring tools and traffic apps to see live conditions. They help with parking, wait times, and finding less busy alternatives. But don't be enslaved by ratings alone. A low-review roadside cafe might be underrated but delightful. Combine tech with local sense and you'll win. Accept detours as part of the plan. Deliberately schedule one flexible day per trip with no fixed stops. Use it to follow local suggestions, accept an unexpected invite, or take a wrong turn that turns out to be right. Those unscripted moments are often the quietest and most memorable. Be thoughtful about photography and sharing. Social media drives crowd surges. If you find a quiet spot that you're tempted to post about, think about whether telling everyone is fair to the place. If it's a fragile area, consider keeping it to yourself or sharing it only with friends who will respect it. Responsible travel keeps places beautiful and uncrowded. Plan for parking and access. Some popular sites limit cars, require shuttles, or have narrow roads. Look up access rules before you go. If a shuttle is required, book early or choose a less busy day. If parking is limited, plan to bike in or take a short walk from a less popular lot. Use private timing to your advantage. Sunrise and sunset are golden hours for a reason. If you can be at a viewpoint before dawn, you'll often avoid crowds entirely and get the best light. Nighttime also offers solitude for stargazing and listening to the world. Just take plenty of safety precautions. Keep an eye on local events. Festivals, charity runs, and school events can make a town busier than usual. A quick check of local event calendars helps avoid surprise crowds and opens opportunities to enjoy local culture when you want it. The point of crowd-free planning isn't to have the place to yourself out of some elitist impulse. It's practical. Fewer people means less time wasted, lower prices, and more meaningful experiences. It means you can sit by a river and actually hear the water rather than someone's TikTok soundtrack. Plan with intention, be flexible, and be polite. The best routes reward the curious and patient. You'll save money, but more importantly, you'll get the quiet that makes travel feel like an actual break from the world instead of a busier version of it. 4.1 Timing Tricks. Beat the herd. Save the cash. Timing is the secret sauce of peaceful road trips. A little scheduling finesse gets you scenic views, empty parking spots, and better prices without any heroic effort. Shoulder seasons and midweek travel. Think of shoulder seasons as the travel world's happy hour. Less expensive, more space, and better sunsets without the elbowing. Spring and fall swap blistering crowds for mild weather and deals. B&Bs drop rates, campgrounds have open loops, and small-town diners aren't understaffed. Midweek travel is the secret handshake for frugal road trippers. Tuesday through Thursday usually means empty viewpoints, shorter waits at roadside cafes, and fewer RVs hogging pullouts. If you must work around a weekend, consider carving a long weekend that starts on a Wednesday, radically reduces crowds and keeps costs down. Pro tip: lodging and activity pricing often updates weekly. Checking rates on Monday afternoons reveals quieter midweek bargains. That smug calm you feel? Totally earned. Plus, fewer cars mean better wildlife sightings and more peaceful campfires. Dawn, dusk, and strategic hours. Sunrise is the cheat code of crowd avoidance. Arrive before the first coffee truck opens and you'll claim prime parking, empty vistas, and photos that make strangers assume you're a professional. No expensive equipment required. Morning light softens landscapes and wildlife tends to be more active, so early starts often give you both solitude and showmanship. If mornings make you grumpy, dusk is your ally. Late afternoon windows, think 2 hours before sunset, see many day trippers heading home, leaving overlooks blissfully quiet. Golden hour flatters everything from dusty barns to jagged peaks, and cooler temperatures make hikes more pleasant. A practical tip: plan snacks and a headlamp if you're staying past sunset, and check leave no trace rules for nighttime stays. Strategic hours aren't magic. They're a small discipline with big rewards. Avoid event weekends and school holidays. Local festivals, graduation weekends, and tiny town marathons can turn a sleepy byway into a bumper-to-bumper spectacle. Before you lock dates, scan municipal calendars, school district schedules, and regional fair listings. These are the unglamorous truth bombs that bump up hotel rates and empty trailheads fast. Don't assume federal holidays are the only busy times. Spring break windows vary by state, and regional events like Oktoberfest or apple harvests draw crowds on otherwise quiet days. If you stumble onto a suddenly crowded weekend, treat it as a diplomatic problem. Ask locals for quieter alternatives, or celebrate the chaos with off-hour meals and a detour to a nearby park. For the control freaks, set calendar alerts 6 months out to flag known busy dates, then relish being the rare traveler who knows when to stay away. Time meals and popular stops to skip lines. Meals are traffic control in disguise. Shifting lunch an hour earlier or later slashes wait times, and often lands you with a sunny table. Early bird diners catch fresher menus and friendlier service. Late lunchers avoid the noon crush and sometimes score discounted plates. Same logic applies to attractions. First ferry, first tour, or last boat of the day usually has the fewest people. If a site has multiple entrances or guided time slots, pick the one most tourists overlook. Pack a picnic as insurance against trendy cafes with hour-long waits. Plus, outdoor lunches make views taste better. For the truly strategic, call ahead. Some places hold a few walk-up tickets or recommend off-peak entry times. Translation: a little planning prevents hangry mutinies and saves time, and often money. 4.2 Alternate access. The side doors are often better. Big-name trailheads and overlooks attract crowds. The trick is finding the side door, the smaller access point that gives the same view without the chaos. Secondary trailheads and forest roads use USFS and BLM maps to find alternate starts. A half-mile more on a quieter trailhead often leads to the same summit or viewpoint with 10 times fewer people. Forest Service roads can lead to hidden pull-offs and overlooks that never make the guidebooks. Scan agency maps online or grab a paper one at a ranger station, then eyeball connector trails and old logging roads. Note surface types. Some routes need clearance or four-wheel drive, others are fine for sedans. Treat these side doors like a backcountry etiquette class. Pack out trash, obey signs, and be ready to turn around if a road looks unsafe. The reward is worth it. Sunrise with fewer selfies and a trail that feels like it was carved just for you. Choose state and county parks over national park crowds. Many state parks have similar scenery and fewer fees. A broad lake, dramatic cliff, or wildflower meadow doesn't have to be inside a national park to be spectacular. And often, you'll have it to yourself. County conservation areas and wildlife management zones are often overlooked diamonds. Start by searching state park systems online and scanning county websites for lesser-known sites. Look for terms like scenic byway, recreation area, or natural area. Reserve campsites early when required, but expect lower nightly rates and friendlier ranger staff than beyond-the-sign big parks. Bring basic gear, bug spray, and a sense of humor. Amenities are simpler, but the sunsets are the same. Treat these smaller parks with respect. Pack out what you pack in, and enjoy the quieter trails locals use to escape weekend crowds. Plan for parking, shuttles, and alternate lots. Some spots limit cars or require shuttles. Before you arrive, check official websites for parking caps, shuttle timetables, and mandatory drop-off zones. If lots fill early, park a half-mile out and pedal, walk, or hitch a free shuttle. Small effort, big calm. Use parking apps, trailhead webcams, or agency updates to find alternate lots and real-time availability. If a shuttle is mandatory, book early or pick an off-peak run. Standing on a boulder in line is a poor way to spend a vacation. Know the access rules. Some lots close at dusk. Others are permit only. Carry change or an app for fees. Lock valuables out of sight. And be ready for a short extra leg. Your patience will buy you elbow room and better photos. Ask locals for the secret routes. Visitor centers, gas station attendants, and coffee shop baristas love to point out the little road that tourists miss. Ask where locals walk their dogs or where the county folks go to watch sunsets. You'll get directions to quiet overlooks, short scenic loops, or secondary trailheads. Phrase the question casually. Where do you go when you want a view without the crowd? Many will sketch a map, recommend a diner nearby, or warn you about a rough washboard road. Keep a notebook or take a quick photo of the sketch. Always verify the route on a map or GPS. Local shorthand like "turn at the old silo" is charming but specific. Leave a tip, buy a coffee, or thank them for saving you from a selfie swarm. Small goodwill yields big secrets. 4.3 Tech, flexibility, and responsible sharing. Use tech like a tool, not a leash. Combine apps and local sense, leave wiggle room in your schedule, and be smart about what you share online. Use crowd and traffic apps wisely. Apps like Google Maps, Waze, AllTrails, and official park alerts are modern binoculars for road trippers. Useful, chatty, and occasionally dramatic. They show live traffic, trail conditions, parking availability, and road closures so you can dodge bottlenecks and unexpected detours. Treat them as one tool. Cross-check app data with official park notices, and when possible, make a quick call to the visitor center. Rangers and locals often know about recent mudslides, temporary closures, or the best lesser-used trailheads that apps haven't caught yet. When you want to wander, consider turning off turn by turn and using apps to scout rather than boss you. Read recent user comments and timestamps for current clues. In short, trust the tech. Verify with people and let apps guide, not govern, your adventure. Build a flexible day into your itinerary. Schedule one true no-plan day per trip. Put it on the itinerary with a name, spare day or mystery stretch, so you don't feel guilty for wandering without a checklist. Start the morning without a map, stop at the first inviting roadside sign, or follow a diner tip. Those spontaneous choices often avoid peak crowds simply by being off the beaten path and delightfully unsearched. Flex days also help your budget. You'll skip pricey attractions and stumble onto free hikes, farmers markets, or homemade pie. Keep fuel and food flexible. Carry a cooler and a basic snack kit. The goal is serendipity with a safety net, not chaos. Pro tip: block off an afternoon just for wandering. Turn that maybe into a highlight and give yourself permission to linger. Share responsibly. Posting a stunning sunrise with a geotag feels generous. It's also an open invitation for everyone with a phone and poor judgment. Before you share, ask, is this fragile, tiny, or dependent on solitude? If the spot is ecologically sensitive, dune hummocks, nesting areas, or rare wildflowers, or a small private stretch of shoreline, skip the coordinates. Consider sharing a cropped image, a vague region name, or no location at all. When you do post, include helpful notes. Leave no trace tips, parking guidance, and etiquette. No drones, keep dogs leashed. Celebrate places by teaching others how to protect them, not by directing a stampede. Also, when locals confide a secret or a host asks you not to tag a favorite cafe, respect that trust. Friendships in quiet places are worth more than likes. Reserve when necessary. Arrive early when not. Some parks, ferries, and popular overlooks now require reservations. Respect the system. Check official sites for permit windows and fees, and book early for busy weekends or peak dates to avoid disappointment. For many charming spots, though, the best strategy is simple: arrive early. Dawn parking and pre-breakfast strolls beat lines and overpriced brunches. Early arrival often saves money too. No shuttles, no long waits, and fewer concession temptations. If you must reserve, aim for shoulder season dates and weekday time slots to cut costs and crowd stress. If you're spontaneous, carry a backup plan, a secondary trailhead, a picnic spot, or a nearby state park where reservations aren't required. Think of reservations like advanced seating and early arrival like the VIP pass to solitude. Both get you closer to the quiet moments you came for. Chapter 5. The Frugal Traveler Philosophy. Frugal travel is not about pinching pennies until the fun leaks out. It's about making choices that amplify meaning while shrinking waste and having a laugh along the way. This chapter ties the whole book together with a mindset you can apply to any trip, any season, and any budget. Think of it as a travel manifesto that values curiosity, thrift, and kindness. Here's the main idea: spend on what matters, save on what doesn't. That looks different for everyone. For some people, it's paying for a guided experience that teaches them local history. For others, it's splitting a cabin and cooking every night. Both are frugal choices if they align with personal priorities. Adopt the slow-first approach. Moving slowly saves money and deepens experience. Staying in a place for 2 nights instead of 1 reduces driving fuel and gives you time to find authentic experiences. Slow travel lets you walk more, eat better, and stumble into local rhythm. It turns a string of photo stops into a real encounter. Be value-minded, not price-obsessed. A cheap motel that's moldy is not a win. A slightly pricier inn with clean rooms and a friendly owner who steers you to free local music is a better investment. Frugal travelers think about quality and value over the long haul. Spend where it improves the trip and save where the impact is minimal. Design simple rituals. Rituals make travel feel richer. A morning coffee on a porch, a midday walk, a nightly journal entry. These don't cost much, but they create continuity and memory. Rituals keep you present, and presence is the currency of meaningful travel. Keep 1 splurge per trip. Allowing yourself 1 memorable splurge, an excellent meal, a private tour, a unique workshop, keeps you from feeling deprived. Plan for it and offset it with inexpensive choices elsewhere. That way you savor something special without blowing the budget. Think locally and give back. The frugal traveler supports local economies in small but powerful ways. A few dollars in a shop, a tip for good service, and buying local produce are low-cost ways to invest where it counts. Respect local customs and be a conscious guest. Leaving a place better than you found it costs nothing and matters a lot. Prioritize experiences over stuff. Souvenirs pile up and weigh down the car. Invest in experiences you can keep in memory and photo. A cooking lesson, a guided nature walk, or a conversation with a shopkeeper. If you want a physical memento, choose something useful. A handmade scarf, a jar of local jam, or a print from a local artist. Be flexible with plans. The best way to save money is to be open to change. If a town is crowded, pick a nearby alternative. If a campground is full, find a municipal site or a quiet B&B. Flexibility reduces stress and keeps options affordable. It's also how great stories start. Use simple tools to stay on track. A basic budget app or a paper ledger works. Track 3 things: fuel, food, and lodging. If you're under budget in one area, you can allow a small treat. If you're over, adjust. Frugal travel is less about constraint and more about intentionality. Practice kindness as a strategy. Be courteous to staff and locals. Helpful, polite travelers get better tips, better service, and better advice. Small town inns will upgrade you when they can. Cafe owners will share where to find the best viewpoint. A positive attitude costs nothing and pays off often. Protect what you love. Part of frugal travel is sustainability. Pack out what you bring, stay on trails, and follow local rules. Conservation keeps the places you love affordable and intact. If a fragile spot becomes overrun, access can be restricted. Responsible travelers help keep routes open and quiet. Make space for serendipity. The best travel money is spent on the unexpected. Leave a blank afternoon and you might find a roadside festival, a brilliant thrift store, or a sunset on a hill you didn't even know existed. Those surprises are typically low cost and unforgettable. Keep learning and iterating. After each trip, review what worked and what didn't. Did a particular app save time? Did a hotel charge hidden fees? Adjust. Frugal travel improves with practice. The better you get, the richer and cheaper your trips become. The frugal traveler philosophy is ultimately about respect. Respect for budgets, for places, and for people. It's also about joy. You can have a trip full of wonder without spending a lot. Sometimes the best part of a road trip is a short stretch of quiet road with good company, a ridiculous sunrise, and a thermos of coffee. Those moments are free, and they're the ones you'll remember. Pack a sense of humor, a willingness to pause, and a pocket map. You're ready. 5.1 The Frugal Mindset. Think of frugal travel as smart and joyful, not joyless. This short section lays out the core attitudes that make cheap trips feel rich. Choices, pace, and a dash of good humor. Spend on what matters, decide ahead what you care about. If sunsets and guided walks matter, budget for one good tour and save on lodging or meals. If comfort matters, choose a clean inn and skip pricey tastings. Being deliberate beats pinching pennies blindly. Start by listing the top 2 things that will make the trip memorable: scenery, food, a unique class, and fund them first. Treat other costs as negotiable. Roadside diners instead of fancy restaurants, campsite nights instead of chain hotels. Think of it as emotional accounting. Spend where you'll smile later, skimp where you won't notice. Use a small envelope or app for your must-have fund so the splurge doesn't get eaten by incidental fees. Your trip, your priorities. Spend like a happy minimalist. Slow first approach. Drive less, stay longer. 2 nights in one town cuts fuel, frees up mornings, and lets you find the local favorites that don't show up on maps. Slow travel turns checklist stops into real moments. More memories, fewer burned miles. When you linger, you discover that the best diner is on Thursday morning, the farmer's market starts at 8, and that retired highway patrol officer who gives history lessons is oddly charming. Less packing, more walking. Plan a base and take day trips. You'll spend less on gas and skip rushed decisions. Enjoy unplanned detours. Pull over at that unmarked turnout. Schedule one lazy afternoon with no agenda. It's often where the luck happens. Plus, slower travel is scientifically proven to increase snack consumption and reduce road rage. Not really, but you'll feel happier. One splurge, lots of rituals. Allow a single memorable treat per trip. A great meal, a workshop, a private tour. Pick the splurge based on what matters to you and pre-budget for it so it feels intentional rather than guilt-driven. Balance it with cheap rituals: porch coffee, a short daily walk, a simple nightly journal. Rituals stitch days together and create continuity, so small pleasures compound into a rich trip. Choose rituals that are repeatable and low cost. A morning coffee ritual might include buying a local pastry once and brewing the rest. Use free local events as ritual anchors: open mic nights, small town parades, library talks. The math is simple. One well-chosen splurge plus lots of tiny rituals equals maximum bragging rights with minimal credit card drama. And yes, you can Instagram the splurge without confessing the camping nights. 5.2 Practical Money-Saving Moves. Here are down-to-earth moves you can use on the road. Small changes add up. A few habits will shave dollars and keep the fun high. Smarter places to sleep: mix and match lodging styles to keep nights comfortable and costs low. Campgrounds and state park lodges deliver big scenery for a fraction of hotel prices, while family-run B&Bs or historic inns offer personality and tips you won't find online. Don't overlook weekday rates and midweek stays. Many places slash prices when demand dips. Call properties directly. The front desk human often has unpublished deals or a cheaper room than the booking sites show. Split A, short stay cabin with friends to halve the cost and double the stories. For true budget adventurers, municipal lots, church parking permissions, and vetted community sites, use apps like iOverlander carefully, can provide legal, free overnight options. Just follow local rules and leave no trace. A little flexibility goes a long way toward better sleep and fewer regrets. Fuel and routing hacks. Save gas by driving smooth. Accelerate gently. Use cruise control on steady stretches and avoid idling during long waits. Keep tires properly inflated and shed unnecessary roof racks or heavy cargo. Every extra pound and drag costs you miles. Check apps like Gas Buddy or Gas Guru to time fills in cheaper towns rather than expensive highway pumps. Plan routes to string attractions together logically so you avoid backtracking. Combine errands, pick up groceries on the way to a trailhead, or hit a viewpoint on the loop back to the campground. For EV drivers, pre-map charging stops with buffer time. Little choices, route planning, tire care, and one smart fill-up compound into real savings over a week on the road. Eat like a local, and cook sometimes. Hunt down farmers markets, roadside stands, and delis for fresh, affordable meals that scream regional flavor. Pack a cooler and assemble picnic lunches for scenic overlooks. Better taste, better views, and big savings. Motel room breakfasts made with a mini stove or kettle and a bit of creativity. Cut morning costs without sacrificing joy. Savor local diners and hole-in-the-wall cafes where portions are generous and prices kind. Split large entrees, choose daily specials, or order from the lunch menu to lower bills. Carry reusable containers for leftovers and snag snack staples, fruit, nuts, and local cheese for the car. Cooking 1 or 2 nights a week and eating out for one memorable meal keeps the wallet happy and the taste buds entertained. 5.3 Be a good guest and protect the road. Frugality and respect go together. Treat places and people well, and you'll be welcomed back. Plus, you help keep hidden roads hidden. Support local economies, buying a jar of jam, tipping at a counter diner, or hiring a local guide for a short tour does more than fill your belly or your camera roll. It keeps small towns alive. Those few dollars often circulate through the community. The baker buys flour, the guide pays for gas, the artisan orders more supplies. That ripple effect preserves the very places you came to enjoy. Ask questions, listen to recommendations, and tip when service is good. A friendly chat can unlock off-menu specials, uncrowded viewpoints, or a shortcut that saves time and gas. If you want a memento, choose something useful and local, a hand-thrown mug or a jar of preserves, rather than a mass-produced keychain that will end up in a drawer. Leave no trace. Pack like you plan to carry it out. Bring a resealable bag for trash. Avoid single-use plastics when possible, and keep food sealed so curious critters don't become neighborhood pests. It sounds basic, but leaving a campsite cleaner than you found it keeps access open for everyone. Stay on marked trails, respect closures, and use established fire rings where allowed. Resist the urge to rescue a plant or take a rock. Souvenirs that come from places degrade fragile ecosystems. Follow basic sanitation rules. Pack out toilet paper where required, and you'll help prevent closures, fines, and the sad sight of barricaded overlooks. Stay flexible and learn. Weather, crowds, and closed campgrounds are plot twists. Treat them as features, not bugs. If a popular spot is packed, swing into the next town, check a parallel byway, or take a museum break. Often the detour becomes the highlight. Flexibility saves money and stress and usually makes for better stories. After each trip, jot what worked: the cheap diner that surprised you, the app that found affordable gas, or a route that shaved hours off driving. Those small notes compound into a personal playbook. Over time, you'll default to smarter choices, spot bargains faster, and laugh more at the times the universe hands you a scenic detour instead of a plan. Final notes: your road, your rules. You've read the routes, learned the tricks, and laughed at least one embarrassing packing story. Now the book closes and the road waits. The point isn't to copy a checklist, it's to give you a simple, practical framework so your next trip feels like a discovery, not an expensive fight for a parking spot. Here's the short version of what actually matters. Handy, honest, and ready to use. Pick the road that feels quiet, not famous. Hidden byways, river loops, and ridgetop spurs give views and solitude without the crowds. Travel with a tiny safety net. Fill your tank before you head into thin service country. Carry basic tools and a paper map, and keep a charged battery pack handy. Stretch your dollars where they count. Mix camping or state park stays with one quirky in night. Cook some meals, eat where locals actually eat, and let one small splurge be the trip's highlight. Use timing like a secret cheat code. Midweek, shoulder season, sunrise views, and alternate trailheads will save money and sanity. Be the kind of guest every small town remembers. Ask questions, buy something small, tip well, and leave places better than you found them. Slow down on purpose. 2 nights in one place beats 3 towns in one day. Rituals: porch coffee, a short walk, jotting a line in a travel notebook. Turn cheap moments into memories. Go with curiosity, not urgency. Take the back road because you can, not because you're racing an Instagram trend. Protect quiet places by sharing responsibly. Bring home fewer selfies and more stories. If you do one new thing from this book: stay longer in one town, pull over for a tiny side road, or say hello to a stranger, you'll prove the point. Great road trips don't have to cost a fortune or a crowd. They just need good timing, a little planning, and the willingness to slow down and look. Safe miles, full hearts, and terrible gas station snacks. See you out there.